Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and welcome to my garden. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. I decided to start giving you guys a little insight and behind the scenes view of my garden. So I have grown this garden in these plots. I have 3 8 foot by 8 foot garden beds. Oh, bugs everywhere. Welcome to South Carolina. They're pretty high up on the front and they're lower towards the back. It is kind of a sloped area here in our yard, so we decided to make use of it by putting these gigantic garden beds. And quite honestly, I needed a place to put them, and my husband he loves me to death, so he put them wherever I wanted them. So, bugs. I thought it would be really neat to give you guys sort of a weekly check-in on the garden, show you what is growing, how it's all doing, and if I come across some stuff along the way, hopefully you guys can help me out. Back that way is the woods. There's a giant wooded area behind my house. Through this fence is a neighbor's yard, and then that way is more neighbors. We live in a community, so this isn't just you know, some garden beds that are out in the middle of nowhere. We live in a subdivision. We built these 3 gigantic garden beds. My dog is currently rolling in the mud, literally. I should show you. There's Buster. He now has mud all over him because he was just wallowing in that muddy little hole over there with his tennis ball. And now Biscuit's probably gonna try and eat it. He's throwing a tantrum because I won't throw him the tennis ball. I might have to put him in the house. Stop. So as I was saying, this is my 3rd year growing this garden in these spaces. The first year was okay, second year did not go well, 3rd year is this year. So 3 is my favorite number, and this is going to be a great year because I am going to try so hard. So I want to show you around. Know that I get great joy out of starting almost everything from seed. And I mean almost everything. There's a lot of plants over here. There are a couple of things that I purchased. One, there's a tomato in a cage right here next to me that I'm going to show you. I was at Aldi one day. They had plants in. It was cold. And I thought, I need this tomato plant. Even though I can grow tomato plants from seeds, no problem. So I bought this tomato plant. It is already flowering. It is a Better Boy tomato. So I bought that one. Every other tomato I started from seed, and I enjoy doing that. I like taking the packages and then making it into something that then produces fruit. It's really rewarding for me. It's also a really affordable way to garden. You can buy seeds for 99 cents a packet online from MI Gardener, which is one of my favorite places to get seeds. And I mean, the packet comes with 25 to 50 tomato seeds. You could grow enough food for your whole neighborhood if you just start some seeds. So I bought a tomato plant, and then I also purchased a sage plant, which last year I was able to successfully grow sage from seed, but this year, I don't know. I was at Lidl, it called to me. And then I purchased 2 more strawberry plants to add to one of my little tower kind of planters over there with strawberries in them. That is it. Every other thing that you see in this garden that I'm going to show you, even though it's really small at this point, has been started from seed. Also, every single day this coming week is going to be in the 80s, so I need to make sure that my plants are really well watered. They're continuing to settle in. There's some things that were direct sowed that are beginning to come out of the soil and come to life, which is amazing. I love it so very much. So I just need to keep a close eye on those to make sure that they don't wilt. I have a couple of squash plants over in my back corner there that have started to look a little sad. It's the hottest part of today, so I just need to make sure that they get some water by the morning. So they'll get watered sometime soon. I have a couple experimental plants that I have never grown before. I'd like to try those. Next year I might try and put some trellises in between the beds. I think that might add some really nice extra space to grow upward and overward. Is that a word? Overward? Overhead? Up and over? I don't know. So we're gonna try and add, Eric doesn't know this yet, but I want to try and add some trellises to grow some vining plants, cucumbers, green beans and stuff like that, so they don't take up so much of my planter space down on the ground here. And also I know you can grow like melons and stuff up on trellises as well, so I think I kind of want to try that. So I'm going to kind of go through each of the beds with you and show you what I have put in. Oh yeah, the thing I was going to say is that I like to grow things that I can eat, and I also like to grow things that are just pretty for the sake of looking at them. So you should always grow something if you're trying to grow some food, but always grow something for the pollinators. So I have plenty of zinnias and sunflowers that I've got planted in here, so hopefully the pollinators will be very happy with those. Right, so here is my first 8x8 bed, and right now there's a ton of weeds around it. My garden is not perfect by any means. There's stuff laying here, those are not properly planted yet, so don't mind that. It's a garden, it's imperfect. So these are actually green onions that I bought at the store, and when I was done using them I put them in a cup in the kitchen, and then they've just taken off. They even survived over winter, so that's pretty cool. Here is the Better Boy tomato that I purchased at Aldi. Like I said, it is setting flowers already, which is really neat, so hopefully we'll be getting some fruit soon. These are delicious tomatoes. I started these from seed, so I have 3 delicious tomatoes here, and they kind of had some yellow spots on them, so I just sprayed them with neem oil. But here they are. They're still quite small, but they will grow mighty before you know it. And then over here I have 3 other tomatoes. These are Homestead Tomatoes. And again, I started these from seed. They are still a little small, but they are settling in since they were transplanted. And of course they were planted deeper than they were tall. So those should be growing before we know it. Over here it looks like a blank section, and right now it largely is. I planted an absolute ton of green beans over here, so let's get rid of this stick. There are 4 kinds. We have contender bush beans. These were planted directly on 418. So, and they are starting to come up here. There are 2 rows of those. We have jade bush beans. I don't see any of those coming up just yet. We have strike bush beans. And we do have some of those just starting to come right out of the soil there. And then lastly we have Blue Lake bush beans. And we also have some of those starting to just peek out of the soil. Over here towards the front we have 4 kinds of lettuce. So we have Paris Island lettuce here. It's rather small. I don't know how well it's going to do. It's getting quite warm. I started my seeds really late this year, so yeah, if I get stuff, I get stuff. If I don't, I don't. This is black-seeded Simpson back here in the back. This is red sales leaf lettuce, and this front here is prize head leaf lettuce. What I was gonna say is you'll see a lot of leaves in my beds, but that's because there is a tree right here, and I mulched in a whole bunch of leaves for after the fall. Alright, now that Buster's put up, the next section we have here, which looks like a whole lot of nothing right now except for leaves, but you can start to see the little army, is a whole bunch of sunflowers that we planted. Fairy Morse Americana Giant, which is supposed to get to be like 14 to 16 feet tall, so even if I get a 3-foot sunflower, I'll be so stoked, because things keep eating our sunflowers like as soon as they come up. As soon as they start to poke out of the ground, things eat them. So it's really hard. We have never really had a successful year of sunflowers, so this year I just planted an obscene amount. So if you're seeing gaps in sunflowers, it's because things have eaten them as they have come up. So I just sprayed them with neem oil, and I'm really hoping this year we can have a successful sunflower year. Oh, that one looks a little sad. Then lastly, over in this back corner here of the beds, so we started over there, went over there, snaked up front, and now we're in the back corner of this bed. We have planted a ton of corn. So my friend Emily gave me some black corn for Christmas, and I'm seeing, oh, where did it go? The very first corn starting to poke out of the ground here. Ta-da! Every last bit of random corn that I had seed, I just went ahead and planted here. So there's an awful lot. There's black corn, there's sweet ambrosia corn, And there's some other kind. I didn't label the corn. It's gonna be what it is. I've never had successful corn, but I thought I'd give it a try again. So this direction is definitely the area with more plants that you can actually see right now. So let's check those out. Lemon Queen sunflowers that I started. And I actually started these in little containers and transplanted them. So we'll see if they make it. I've, again, never had any luck with that. But they're looking pretty good. I have some cilantro up here up front. It looks great, but it's a little bit lacy because something's been eaten on it. So I just sprayed it with neem oil. We'll see if it makes it. Next we have some yellow scalloped bush beans. Again, I've never had luck with squash either, but we're giving it a try this year. And up here I direct sowed some dark green zucchini squash. I haven't had it pop up just yet, so. There we go. And then in the back corner over here, let's take a little stroll. I have some Detroit red beets. It's a little late. They prefer colder weather, but I decided I would just go for it. So they're all along the edge here and there. We have some Black Beauty eggplants, which I have had luck with in the past. So I planted 6 groupings of eggplant over here, because they were delicious, they grew really well. They were the thing that had the least amount of pest and issues the first year that we grew them. So decided to give them a try again. I have some zinnias planted here, and these, I can't remember, I think these are the pink zinnias. Here we have some cantaloupe. It's looking a little bit thirsty, but we actually grew a small, softball-sized cantaloupe one year, so we thought we'd give that a try again. Here we have some giant scarlet flare zinnias. So those are red. And then these are the Tiffin Mennonite tomatoes over here. They are looking pretty darn good. Still small enough that they don't need any cages about them. And again, they were planted deeper than they were tall, removed some of the bottom leaves, so they're just doing their thing. These over here are German Johnson tomatoes. They seem to be doing okay right now. I did spray them as well with the neem oil just a little bit ago. So, and here are some zinnias. Again, little chew holes. And I saw a caterpillar over here yesterday. These zinnias are the Giant Enchantress. They are pink, and that is a weed. Floop, no more. Over here looks like a disaster because I bought some soaker hoses and I didn't buy the spikes to stick them down into the soil, so I just kind of was testing it out, and I got this thing that you hook it to and you could put 3 hoses on it. I'm sorry, 3 more hoses on it, so I would have 4 total, so I could just soaker hose all 3 of my beds. I bought another 2 hoses. I just need the right stuff, so don't mind the hose. That'll be taken care of shortly. These are the only peppers I have ever, bell peppers, I've ever been able to sprout from seed. These are Golden California Wonder Peppers. I can't remember if they're yellow or orange, but that's one, that's one, that's one, and this is one. And they're doing really, really well. I'm very happy that I was able to sprout them from seed. Next up I have jalapenos. There's one, there's one. There are 6 jalapenos. I've never had plant problems starting jalapenos from seed. I have some broccoli, but again, it's getting quite warm. I don't know how well this is going to do. This is Romanesco broccoli. I have super beefsteak tomatoes. I have 2 of those. I have super sweet 100 hybrid tomatoes. 2 of those. And then I also have the Honey Delight hybrid small yellow tomatoes. They're like pear-shaped. I have a couple of those. And these happy little fellas, we have some organic acorn squash here. There we go. So hopefully they do well. Here are my one of my experiment plants. These are loofah plants. So there they are. This fell from the tree up above. Never grown loofah sponges, so it should be fun if they decide to grow. They seem to be doing okay. If they start to get really long, which is what they do. They grow and they're a vine. I'm going to trellis them up to that tree branch, which sounds insane, but that's what I'm going to do. Over here in this front section where it looks like there's nothing except for that tree branch, I planted a whole bunch of peanuts. I planted some peanuts last year and I sort of got some, so I thought I would give it a try again this year. We're in the region for where peanuts grow best, so there's another batch of peanuts in there. Hopefully we'll see them soon. And these are giant violet queen zinnias here, so more flowers, and of course my little gnome. Alright, so that is it for my garden for week 1. Alright guys, so that was it for my garden for week 1. Oh yeah, I have my little greenhouse here. I should show you that, but I live up against the woods, like I said, so we get lots of creepy crawlies that come and visit us. Look at these other seeds that I have going here in my little janky greenhouse. So I decided to start some Clemson spineless okra. I had some sugar baby watermelon seeds from 2008, so I decided if they grow, great. If they don't, then oh well. If someone wants watermelon and I don't have room for them, then I'll make friends in the neighborhood. There's a whole bunch of flowers back there. There's wild sunflower or wild flower mixes and also marigolds mixes. Here's one of the strawberry plants I purchased. Here is some basil, some more lettuce that's probably not going to survive. More basil back there, and then there are two more trays of cilantro, and then I have some ancho peppers and some cayenne peppers. So that's what I've got going on there. And this is a blueberry bush that I bought at Aldi. And these mums survived the winter here, so we'll see how big they get this year. Yeah, so that is it for my garden tour for the last part of April, first week of May. I will update you guys next week. I hope you guys decide to grow something beautiful or tasty or fun this summer, even if it's in a pot. I would love to see you share your pictures and tell me what you've got going on with your garden. I am no expert, but I really enjoy it. I grew a garden 1 year in California, and this is my 3rd year growing a pretty decent sized garden here in South Carolina, so I hope to get a lot of delicious produce. Eric's main goal is he wants to see sunflowers. He really loves sunflowers, so hopefully we can make that happen this year. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next week.